She tried to kill him. He did something impossible. The purple blade hummed through the air where Jake Miller's head had been a second before. Zara cursed in her native tongue as the human rolled away from her strike. This was supposed to be simple. One quick kill, collect the bounty and return home to the Valthari Empire. But nothing about this human was simple. Jake scrambled behind a fallen tree in the alien forest. The twin suns cast strange shadows through the blue leaves above them. He had crash-landed on this planet 3 days ago, when Zara's ship had damaged his small transport vessel. Now she hunted him through the wilderness like prey. Zara was 7 feet tall with silver skin that shimmered in the sunlight. Her forearms moved with deadly grace as she stalked through the undergrowth. 2 arms held energy weapons while the other 2 carried traditional Valthari blades. Her large black eyes could see heat signatures, making hiding difficult for any warm-blooded creature. The bounty on Jake's head was substantial. He had stolen classified military data from a Galactic Alliance base. The information contained defense plans for human colonies along the Outer Rim. Every major alien faction wanted those files, and they wanted Jake dead to prevent him from selling to their enemies. Zara had accepted this contract because killing humans was easy work. They were weak, slow, and died quickly. She had eliminated dozens of them over her career as a bounty hunter. This job would buy her a new ship and fund her retirement. But Jake Miller was different from other humans she had killed. When her energy blast had destroyed his ship's engines, he should have died in the crash. Instead, he had walked away with only minor injuries. When she cornered him at the wreckage site, he should have begged for mercy like the others. Instead, he had looked at her calmly and said something that confused her. "I know who sent you. The question is whether you know why they really want me dead." Then he had vanished into the forest before she could react. For 3 days now, she had tracked him through terrain that should have killed a human within hours. The gravity on this world was 30% higher than Earth standard. The atmosphere had toxins that made most species sick. Predatory creatures roamed everywhere, drawn to the scent of off-world visitors. Yet Jake not only survived but seemed to thrive. He moved through the forest like he had lived there for years. He avoided the dangerous animals with uncanny skill. He found food and water sources that even her advanced scanners had missed. Now, as purple energy bolts scorched the air around him, Jake did something impossible. He stood up and walked toward her. Zara's weapons locked onto his approaching form, but she hesitated. In all her years as a hunter, no prey had ever approached her willingly. His calm expression unnerved her more than any scream of terror ever could. "You can stop shooting," Jake said quietly. "I'm not running anymore." "Smart choice, human. Surrender now and I will make your death quick." Jake stopped 10 feet away from her. "You still don't understand, do you, Zara? They didn't hire you to kill me for the data I stole." Her grip tightened on her weapons. "Explain yourself before you die. The data I took wasn't military defense plans. Those were fake files planted for someone like me to find. The real information was about Project Genesis." Zara had never heard of Project Genesis, but something in Jake's voice made her pause. "What is Project Genesis?" "It's a human program to create soldiers who can survive on any world, fight any enemy, and adapt to any situation. The process involves genetic modification, cybernetic enhancement, and psychological conditioning." Impossible. Humans lack the technology for such advances. Jake smiled sadly. "That's what everyone thinks. That's what we wanted everyone to think. While other species focused on bigger ships and stronger weapons, humans focused on making better humans." A chill ran through Zara's body despite the warm alien air. "You are claiming to be some kind of super soldier?" "I'm claiming to be the prototype. The first successful Genesis subject, and the reason they want me dead isn't to protect military secrets. It's because I refuse to be their weapon anymore." Zara's 4 eyes narrowed as she studied him more carefully. Jake looked like an ordinary human male in his 30s. Average height, brown hair, unremarkable features. But now she noticed things she had missed before. His breathing remained steady despite the higher gravity and toxic air. His clothes showed no tears or stains despite 3 days in hostile wilderness. Most telling of all, he showed no fear of her weapons even at point-blank range. "Prove it," she demanded. Jake nodded and held out his right hand. Before Zara could react, he gripped one of her energy weapons and crushed it like paper. The metal crumpled with a grinding sound that echoed through the forest. Then he reached for her blade. The purple energy should have cut through his flesh like water. Instead, it sparked harmlessly off his skin. Jake closed his fingers around the blade and snapped it in half. Zara backed away in shock. What are you? I'm what humans become when we stop limiting ourselves. Faster than Valthari warriors, stronger than Krogan berserkers, more adaptable than Nexus shapeshifters. And unlike every other super soldier program in the galaxy, Genesis subjects retain their humanity. Why tell me this? Why not simply kill me? Because killing you won't solve anything. They'll just send another hunter, then another, until someone gets lucky. But if you help me, we can expose the truth about Project Genesis and stop them from creating an army of soldiers like me. Zara processed this information while keeping her remaining weapons trained on Jake. What proof do you have of these claims? Jake reached slowly into his jacket and pulled out a small data crystal. Everything is on here. Test results, procedure notes, video recordings of the enhancement process. Also included are the names and locations of other Genesis subjects they're planning to eliminate. Why would they kill their own creations? Because we started thinking for ourselves. Genesis soldiers were supposed to be loyal weapons that followed orders without question. Instead, we became people who could see the bigger picture. We realized that the human government was planning to use us for conquest, not defense. This revelation struck Zara like a physical blow. Her own government had spent decades preparing for eventual war with expanding human colonies. If humans had secretly developed super soldiers, the balance of power in the galaxy would shift dramatically. How many of you exist? 47 active subjects. But the program is expanding. They're planning to create thousands more using improved techniques. Unless someone stops them, Zara lowered her weapon slightly. Even if what you say is true, why should I risk my life to help you? This conflict is between humans and their own government, because they're not planning to stop with human colonies. The data shows target lists for every major alien homeworld. Phase 2 of Project Genesis involves infiltrating and destabilizing non-human governments from within. The forest around them seemed to grow quieter as Zara absorbed this information. If Jake was telling the truth, then her own people were in terrible danger. The Valthari Empire's military might meant nothing against enemies who could walk among them undetected. Assuming I believe you, she said carefully. What exactly are you proposing? Help me reach the Galactic Council station in the Centauri system. Let me present this evidence to representatives from all major species. In exchange, I'll give you the location of every Genesis facility and the identities of all program leaders. The bounty on your head is worth more than my ship. The bounty assumes I'm still just a human with stolen data. Now you know I'm something much more valuable. Alive, I can expose a threat to every species in the galaxy. Dead, I'm just another corpse. Zara holstered her remaining weapons and extended one of her hands to Jake. Very well, human, but if you are lying to me, I will kill you slowly. Jake shook her hand with surprising gentleness for someone who had just crushed metal with his bare fingers. Fair enough. But my name is Jake, not human. Jake, she repeated, testing the unfamiliar sound. I am Zara of the 4th House, Blade of the Eastern Reaches. Nice to meet you properly. Zara. Sorry about trying to avoid getting killed by you for 3 days. Despite everything, Zara found herself almost smiling. Your survival instincts are impressive for prey. Thanks. Your hunting skills are impressive for someone who just switched sides. They began walking through the forest together, moving toward the crash site where Zara's ship waited. The twin suns were setting, painting the blue leaves in shades of purple and gold. Strange creatures called to each other in the growing darkness. Jake, Zara said after they had walked in comfortable silence for several minutes. Yeah? When you crushed my weapon, how much of your strength were you actually using? Jake considered this question seriously. Maybe 5%. The genetic modifications include redundant muscle fibers and enhanced bone density. The cybernetic components provide additional power amplification. And the psychological conditioning? That's the scary part. It removes normal human limitations on violence and survival behavior. A conditioned Genesis soldier can do things that would traumatize regular humans without feeling any emotional impact. But you said you retained your humanity. Some of us did. Others became exactly what the program wanted them to become. Those are the ones you really need to worry about. They reached Zara's ship as the last light faded from the sky.